TBS Storyline returns with Myrna Moore.
They've been described as John Philip Sousa meets Dr. Seuss, and they've been delighting audiences at Atlanta festivals and parades for more than 30 years. Unique is their namesake. We went marching with the Seed and Feed Abominable.
The whirl of the twirlers, the blast of the brass, the pounding of the percussion. There's nothing quite as thrilling as a marching band. Countless hours of practice go into this centuries-old musical tradition to perfect the cadence and high-stepping precision of energy and music in motion. But in our fair city, there is a marching band that is like no other, taking John Philip Sousa to where he's never been before. The unparalleled, the unforgettable, the unrepentant, Seed and Feed Marching Abominable. But what exactly is a marching abominable? And what are they seeding and feeding these folks?
The Seed and Feed Marching Abominable name came at a time where a lot of rock bands had names that sort of had that kind of rhythm. Andy Warhol's The Plastic Inevitable.
We were terrible. I mean, abominable. The name was true at that time.
Our name is hard to grasp. The most frequent thing is they get the seed and feed backwards.
Feed and seed. We're always the feed and seed.
We've even had professional announcers. They've called us the marching abdominals.
Wacky band of less than serious musicians.
The wild group, always dressed in strange clothes.
And daisy pants.
I think just about every adjective has been used to describe our band.
I would describe it as a mobile sight and sound extravaganza.
We're Atlanta's only street art performance guerrilla attack band.
Playing, at top volume at breakneck speed.
Basically a community band gone bad.
Seeding and feeding gratuitous joy to the masses has made this marching abominable a mainstay of Atlanta events for more than 30 years.
The first parade that the band ever performed in was at the Inman Park Festival in '74.
The parade route went much farther than we do now.
And so by the time they were doing the last uphill, I thought the band was going to die.
And we're just marching and playing, and when is this ever going to end?
They had blisters on their feet and blisters on their lips.
And then we just kept going and going and going.
But at the end of the parade, the band was in such exhausted collapse that they just threw themselves on the ground, and that ultimately led to something the band has been doing ever since.
What I hope is that the people who see that year after year don't go, there they go doing it again.
It is one of the most interesting things you will ever see a marching band do.
And you never know where these maestros of music, mirth, and mayhem will pop up next.
Sometimes we'll do what we call a blitz. And that's where we'll just show up at some unsuspecting location and just march in and play.
Bust in, play a song or two, and then run away.
Blitzes are great. The band goes Krogering, riding MARTA buses.
The bar is a great place to go because the people are already in a good mood. Those people will applaud and sometimes get up and dance, and that's a good place.
If you too long to heed the trumpet call and want to sweat buckets while you march in polyester and taffeta, the Seed and Feed always embraces new recruits.
If you want to join the Seed and Feed, come on out.
1, 2, 3, 4. There's no audition. They just have to show up at rehearsal and say they're interested.
The average member who joins the band typically says they haven't played their instrument in 15 years.
If you just love to play and you love to have fun, that's all they require of you.
If you are a musician, you're an abominable. If you're a dancer, you're a despicable.
An abominable is a band geek that discovers their inner child.
Despicables, basically, they have two functions. They perform crowd control and they dance.
We flirt, we interact with the crowd, and just draw them into the fun that we're having.
I
I never knew for years what they did. Wow, they're great.
Our job as Despicables is to protect the band, to keep the band from falling down steps, to keep people from running into the band.
Keeping us from running into fire plugs and telephone poles.
If you're the conductor at rehearsal, you're the semiconductor. If you're the conductor at a gig, you're the broom.
He's called a broom because that goes back to the first guy who volunteered to do that. Instead of one of those fancy batons with a big silver ball on the end, he brought a broom.
There's also the Abominettes, which is our terminology for a majorette. There's also incorrigibles, which are the offspring of band members.
And they are encouraged to have fun.
Ask an Abominable or Despicable, what's the glue that keeps their glittering place and the band together through thick and thin or slopes and inclines, and they'll tell you.
What really holds it together is just how much fun doing this type of performance is.
There's a lot of love that goes on the seat and feet. It just fills you up with so much energy and life and joy and delight that you're just going all week just on one performance.
It's free therapy. The band is free therapy.
Playing the music is what brings us together. What keeps us together is a sense of community. We are each other's community.
I mean, 33 years, that's something.
I hope we march on for another 35 years.
To find out where the Seed and Feed Marching Abominable will strike next, visit us online at tbsstoryline.com.